as a high net worth individual, you shouldn't just have one passport or one country that you belong to, and in some cases that you're a slave to, because in your passport it says that it actually belongs to the state, which in many cases that is the deal. You get your passport, but really it belongs to the government. And we're seeing over the Western world, although I have to be very careful how I talk about this because there have been people that have been prosecuted for just merely criticizing government policy in some Western countries. And obviously I travel a lot, so I have to be careful. In some Western countries, we're seeing governments prosecute people for criticizing the government, criticizing their migration policies. I don't hate anyone. I don't discriminate against religion, against race, against anything. But when I migrate somewhere, when I go somewhere, I go there legally, and I go there with a lot of documentation and papers. And obviously it's not fair that I get my papers legally and other people do it illegally. And when you criticize that and it goes against government policy, then they might even prosecute you for that. So we're seeing really governments crack down and really censor some people and try to watch what you do online. You have to upload your ID in order for them to know what websites you're accessing, in order for them to know what you're doing online. They want to add on, for example, digital currencies issued by the central bank. And in a lot of ways, these digital currencies can track you on what you buy. So for example, if you buy too many trips, too many business trips, if you buy too much alcohol, or if you buy too many billiard tables, whatever it is, whatever thing you like, Pokemon cards. I met a couple of millionaires who love Pokemon cards. Let's say you buy too much of that and the government doesn't like that, they can always freeze your account. Or they can always tax the account whenever they think, oh, you owe us 100 grand more in taxes and you didn't actually owe that. Well, now you need to fight for the 100,000 back. In a lot of cases, they can just pull it out of your account. They don't even have to go to a bank. They just do it with the digital currency. And a lot of people, regular people that are suffering through inflation, that are suffering in general, they're not living a good life, they're going to vote for these policies because they see them at the surface level. These digital currencies, they see them as, oh yeah, these digital currencies are going to make my life easy. We're not going to have to rely on American companies to manage our finances, so let me just use that. And most people are going to use it. So obviously you, as a multimillionaire, you're going to be affected as well. And the best way to get away from all of this and have a perfect plan B, because maybe for a lot of people it doesn't make sense to move out immediately, but at least have a second citizenship. At least have another country where you can always use the ID of that country. We're not trying to evade anything in the country. We're not trying to avoid any laws. We're just getting a second citizenship to have a new country to belong to. And I don't trust any government. I have multiple citizenships. I renounced my U.S. citizenship, and I don't trust any of these people. When a government wants you, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. And that's how I see it. It's like trusting a government, it's like trusting a crocodile. So I have multiple options, not just one more, and that's it. That's why I have multiple different citizenships. But adding another one gives you another country you can potentially live in. In the case of getting EU citizenship, gives you multiple countries. Although the EU is one of the ones that are pushing more to these control and censorship and regulations. But it gives you a bunch of countries that you can potentially live in. Getting a Caribbean passport, although not that useful for a lot of people, I think there are better options. Citizenship by merit, by exception, does give you a way of belonging to a new country, of belonging to a new region of countries, of having a new country you can potentially move your wealth to, move your business to, hire people. That's why I talk about Serbia all the time. You can hire people in Serbia, start a business, get citizenship by merit, and now you're in a country that doesn't really care much about the policies of the Western world, that kind of does whatever they want. They have their agreements with the Eastern world, so they're doing whatever they want, and they're keeping that balance between the West and the East. So having one passport, because of the regulations and restrictions that these Western governments specifically are doing, they can always just revoke your passport. This happens in a lot of countries. If you criticize the government, okay, we'll just take your passport away. We'll just revoke it. And there's not really much you can do. You can't apply for a visa because you need a valid passport. You can't do much. Just like in Ukraine, for example, we've had some Ukrainian clients that come to us and they're like, look, in 1 year, my passport expires. What can I do? And it's like, well, dude, you got 6 months, because most countries won't accept a passport that is less than 6 months validity. And they won't renew it because they have to go back to Ukraine to fight on the front lines. So they have to get another citizenship within those 6 months, immediately. They get something like Vanuatu or Nauru just to get something, or El Salvador in 3 weeks, or just citizenship by merit. But in some cases, it takes a little bit more than 6 months. So it's very tricky. So that can always happen to a Western country. They can always say, look, we don't like what you're saying online, therefore we're going to revoke your passport. We're not going to let you renew it. Or you owe some tax that we determined that you owe, and you didn't pay it, so we're not going to let you renew it, just like the US does. The US actually has a law where they determine that you owe a certain amount of taxes. Even if you don't, you could fight it. But let's say they determine that you owe that, they just don't renew your passport. So now you're stuck with a passport that you can't renew, and now you need to fight the case that you don't owe that tax. It's a huge problem. And this is really the direction that we're going in the Western world. So I think having one citizenship is a massive risk. If you're interested in getting a second citizenship, I made a private video for my email list on exactly how citizenship by merit works, how you can get a second passport in a couple of months that might be significantly better than, for example, a Caribbean citizenship by investment. All you have to do, put your email in the link below. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to send you 100 emails. I'm not going to try to pitch you anything. This is just so you understand how this industry works, how you understand how these countries are bidding for millionaires. Click the link. I'll see you there. Just like you diversify your investments, you don't invest into only one thing. Maybe you do, but most people don't invest into one specific thing, 100% of their net worth. The same deal goes with countries. And now we're going to an era where countries are just bidding for who can attract the most foreigners. Serbia is bidding. Look, we'll give you citizenship if you invest in our country. El Salvador is bidding. The Caribbean is bidding. Turkey is bidding. We're seeing all these countries bidding. Look, come here, invest your millions, we'll give you citizenship. Paraguay, come here, deposit some money, we'll give you permanent residency and tax residency. So all these countries are fighting for millionaires to go there, and there's going to be more and more. At some point, there's going to be 40 countries offering some sort of citizenship program, 100 countries offering some citizenship program, because this is where we're going. We're going the direction of the Western world is more restrictive, revoking, canceling, censoring, and the rest of the world, the developing world, let's say, wants to attract as many millionaires as possible. And that's why I recommend any multimillionaire get a second citizenship, whether that's by donation, by donating to a country, investing into a country, contributing to a country, getting it by descent through a grandparents, parents. For example, today I met an Australian entrepreneur. Both his parents are Polish, and he doesn't have a Polish passport. Australian citizen, both his parents are Polish, he doesn't have a Polish passport. I was like, dude, you gotta get a Polish passport now. Like, this is the best time. Both your parents are Polish. Before they make it even harder in the future, just get it now. And obviously they moved to Australia, so they didn't care that much about Poland anymore. But now he does. He likes Poland, and he likes dating in Poland. So I told him, dude, you gotta do it. You gotta get that second passport, and especially a place like Australia that is so restrictive in many ways and going in the direction of being more restrictive. This is the perfect time of getting a second passport. If you want to get a second passport, click right here. These are the 3 countries that I recommend the most to my wealthiest clients. You're going to love this video. Check the top 3 countries to get a second passport.